Hey guys, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing fantasy books that I did like, and there are a few fantasy that I like. However, when I was looking at my shelf, I only picked out 2 books. So I have changed this to fantasy and sci-fi books that I did like, because otherwise this would have been a very short video. So the first book that I have is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This book was super hyped at the beginning of this year, and for some reason I can't help myself when it comes to super hyped books. I have to see what it's about, even though I knew that this was fantasy. So this is about a girl named Zelly who lives in this world where the magic that they once possessed is gone, and she is on a journey to go and try to find it. It is over 500 pages. It is told in 3 different perspectives. These are all things that scare me a lot in fantasy. However, I read this in 2 days, I think, and I give it 5 stars, and I absolutely loved it. It deserved the hype that it got. I feel like it was really well written, and the story was super fast paced, and it was fantasy, and I liked it. So sometimes you should believe the hype, is what I guess I'm trying to say. And I can't wait for Children of Vengeance and Virtue? Question mark? So I like this one. If you haven't read it, it is worth the hype. I did like it. I'm telling you I liked it, and I don't like fantasy. 5 stars. Okay. The next fantasy novel that I have is The Bells by Donnell Clayton. This is about people who are born with the ability to make other people beautiful, and it was really good. I think I read it in 1 day. I was not expecting to like this one as much as I did. It was also super hyped, and it did make the New York Times bestselling list, but it was super fast paced, and it ended on a cliffhanger, of course, and now I'm waiting for The Everlasting Rose, which hopefully comes out early 2019, and I guess this is fantasy. I consider it fantasy. It definitely wasn't contemporary. I don't think it was sci-fi. So if you're looking for like a fast-paced, it was definitely different than any of the other fantasies I tried to read. It was all about beauty and standards of beauty mixed in, and it was a good one. And look at this cover. You know how I feel about covers. So going on to the sci-fi books that I like, I'm gonna consider this sci-fi. This is part of the Lunar Chronicles. This is Cress. This is the 3rd in the series. The reason I'm holding up this one and not Cinder is because I didn't like Cinder, but Cress was my favorite one. This is a sci-fi retelling of fairy tales in space, and I did not think that I was gonna like this. I listened to it on road trips with my husband, and I actually think that he kind of enjoyed them as well. It's different. I'm not really a fan of fairy tale retellings. I didn't like Heartless by Marissa Meyer, but I feel like the sci-fi aspect of this happening in space definitely elevated it, and I liked it more because of that. So if you haven't read the series yet, please do. Cinder was my least favorite of all 4. I feel like it drags, and it was so, like, you knew what was gonna happen. You knew, but maybe, I don't know. Castman's agreeing with me. He was like, yeah. Isn't this? Okay. So definitely keep going after Cinder, because I feel like that one wasn't as good as the other ones get. The next 2 that I have are probably my favorites in this whole entire pile of books, and that is Scythe and Thunderhead. We actually read Scythe for my book club because I suggested it, and I think everyone liked it, and that made me feel good about myself. When I first started working at the library I'm working at now, we got this in, and I had read Unwind by Neil Shusterman not that long ago, and I didn't love it, but I liked his writing so much. So when I picked up Scythe, I couldn't believe that I was reading this so fast. It is a kind of dystopian world, sort of, kind of, where death isn't a thing, so they have scythes who go around and kill people so the world doesn't overpopulate. And it is the coolest thing I've probably ever read. This is my favorite science fiction book for sure. 5 stars, yes. And then Thunderhead came out earlier this year. Yeah, I think like in February. And I gave it 4 stars. That ending though, if you haven't read it, Scythe is I don't like fantasy or science fiction. So the fact that I'm like even making this video, this is saying something. These books are fantastic. The writing is amazing. Neil Shusterman can't do any wrong. I read this book Dry that he did with his son Jared, I think. And it comes out in October. I read an arc of it, and it was great. Like, he can do no wrong with writing. I feel like he is the Stephen King of YA, which is a high compliment because I love Stephen King. The next book that I also chose for book club, I'm doing great, is Warcross by Marie Lu. So in this world, technology rules all, and Emika, I call her Emika, I don't think that's right, rainbow hair, and she accidentally puts herself in the game of Warcross, and instead of being executed, she is sent to Tokyo, where she is now a spy for Warcross. It's super good and fast-paced, and I already read Wildcard, and spoiler alert, it's fantastic. Super good. Can't wait until I can get my hands on the physical copy this month. So it was just a great duology. I love Marie Lu's writing. This was the first book I ever read by Marie Lu, so I'm a little behind, but it was excellent. So it was great sci-fi, it was fast-paced, and it's about video games, which I don't really care about, but I thought it was really well done. The last books that I have, I think are considered dystopian, so I'm kind of cheating, but no one talks about them on BookTube, so I really wanted to talk about them. This is Flawed and Perfect by Cecilia Ahern. This was her first dabble in YA. Normally she is a fiction romance writer, so I don't even remember how I picked up Flawed as first. I think it was at my library and I liked the cover. But this is a society where you have to be perfect, and if you do something wrong, you get a branded F on some part of your body that represents what you did wrong. So our main character tries to save this old man from dying on a bus, and she gets branded everywhere on her body, and she has a secret to keep, and it goes from there, and it was super fast paced. And then I picked up Perfect right when it came out, and it continues on with her story, and I thought it was so good, and no one talks about it on BookTube. So if you are interested in a short dystopian duology, these two are for you. I thought it was great writing. It's not set in America. I think it's set in Ireland, I'm pretty sure. But I thought the writing was great. No one talks about it. I'd really like to talk about these books with someone. So if someone could read these and then comment down below that you also like these so I'm not alone, that would be great. So these are just a few of the fantasy and sci-fi novels that I do like, even though I know I give fantasy a hard time. But see, I like some. Thanks for watching.